This week on Maker Update, a flight sim chair that works with real or virtual planes, Hackaday's Pet Hacks Contest, an Arduino rocket Launchpad, and a Boombox that takes floppies. Hey, I'm Donald Bell, and welcome back to another Maker Update, our weekly show covering the latest projects and tips shared by people like you. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're doing well. Let's get started with the project of the week. Last year, we featured Michael Rechtin's prototype for this immersive FPV RC plane control chair. With it, RC plane pilots are given a chance to really feel like they're sitting in their model plane, physically tilting with every adjustment of the controls. Well, just this past week, Michael published a new update to this chair. It has all the same functionality of the previous design, but adds rudder pedals, replaces the homemade controls with off-the-shelf USB controllers, and now includes an easy way to switch the chair into a flight sim game mode. This means whether or not you feel like using this with an actual FPV RC plane or quadcopter, you can use this rig to fly virtual planes in games like Microsoft Flight Simulator with realistic feedback mapped to the chair. Best of all, unlike the previous project, Michael has now included all the project files and documentation on this design, including a CAD model that you can view and rotate and see how it all fits together. From an electronics perspective, you're looking at an Arduino programmed teensy microcontroller to handle all the incoming data from the USB controllers and the IMU board that reports on the chair's current physical position. The teensy also communicates with the gearbox stepper motors below the chair that are responsible for tilting it around. In addition to that, there's also a Raspberry Pi here that mainly seems to be for wrangling all the various USB controller inputs for the joystick, throttle, and rudder pedals and folding them into a tidy serial data stream. On top of that, there's a full PC which can be configured for either gameplay or to run the ArduPilot software used for RC plane operation. A ton of care and thought went into this project, and the video and all the documentation. You can really tell that Michael wants to see others replicate and modify this design. Even if realistic flight simulation isn't your thing, consider other ways you can adapt this work for other types of games, or robot control, or other types of vehicle simulation like Formula One racing. It's a great project and an incredible resource. Now for some news. Hackaday, in partnership with DigiKey, has announced a new contest called the Pet Hacks Challenge. If you've ever thought about doing a project that would benefit your pet in some way, this is the contest for you. Just submit an animal-related, documented project on Hackaday before June 10th, and you'll be eligible to win one of 3 $150 gift certificates from DigiKey. To give you some idea of what they're looking for, the honorable mention categories include pet safety, playful pets, cyborg pets, and home alone. More projects, check out this compressed air-powered rocket Launchpad by Aiden Wyandt. What you're looking at is a pair of 24-volt solenoid valves connected to an Arduino R4 Wi-Fi and enclosed in a cool-looking custom laser-cut box. Compared to a solid fuel rocket launch system, this air-powered alternative can be used over and over so long as there's enough battery power. In this case, the battery system is a standard 20-volt DeWalt tool battery boosted up to 24 volts to power the solenoid valves. What I really like here is the use of the Arduino as a Wi-Fi interface to remotely launch the rockets from a safe distance. Another project that caught my eye recently is this MIDI blaster Boombox by Luke the Maker. This is a 3D printed portable music player that reads MIDI music song sequences from a 3.5-inch floppy disk. The technology is actually inspired by an old Roland MT90S, which was a device sold to musicians who wanted a way to slow down, learn, and practice songs. Given the technology of the time, MIDI files stored on floppies made sense. Not so much by today's standards, but you have to admit there's something kind of wonderful about the floppy as a music format. Similar to a cassette tape, there's a satisfying mechanical ka-chunk you get when you load it up or eject it. You can find a link to Luke's free build files and documentation on his Patreon page using the link in the description. Now for some tips and tools. There's a great new video out from Jeremy Fielding called How to Reverse Engineer Anything, Even If You Don't Have One. His advice can absolutely apply to any existing mechanical thing that you may want to recreate. From finding the manuals, looking at research papers, sourcing 3D models, tons of useful practical ideas. But another great reason to watch this video is to see Jeremy apply his reverse engineering mindset to something really cool. This 6-axis industrial robot. It's a 30-minute video, but a fantastic way to casually shadow Jeremy as he pulls this robot apart bit by bit, pointing out features and design choices that most of us would miss. For a look at an interesting gear mechanism not found in this robot arm, check out this 3D printed recreation of a cross-spherical gear by Robert Murray Smith. This is also called an ABENICS gear, and at first it just looks like a spiky ball, but really you're looking at a gear profile rotated in 2 directions. The advantage of this design is that it can be rotated in a wide range of directions and makes a pretty useful analog to a human shoulder joint. Not only does Robert do a fantastic job explaining how he recreated the design, he also includes a Thingiverse file that you can download and print for yourself. On his YouTube channel, Dan Gelbart offers an outstanding collection of shop tips that I've never seen before. Some of these are little hacks, like how to keep a drill bit from wandering on metal without using a center punch, or how to use oil pressure to remove a bushing from a blind hole. But some of these tips are just magic, like how to modify a standard thread tap for tapping a left-hand thread, or how to spot weld aluminum by sandwiching it between stainless steel. There are already over 1,000 comments on this video with a lot of appreciation, as well as some good follow-up tips worth looking through. For this week's DigiKey Spotlight, there's a useful video from Adafruit as part of their Great Search series. This time around, it's addressing a hot topic of how to find and identify components on DigiKey whose prices are impacted in the US by tariffs. The good news is that DigiKey search tools make it easy to not only spot items impacted by tariffs, but they can also be put to use for finding alternatives or substitutions that are better for your budget. Check out this video from Lady Ada for a demonstration on how it's done. Alright, and that does it for this week's show. Be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. Thanks again to Cria Ciencia for the use of their lab. They're an outstanding resource for childhood science education in Barcelona, and I'll leave a link where you can learn more down in the description. A big thanks as always to DigiKey for making this show possible, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.